What is going on, Patriots Nation? This is Jace back with another edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. We just got some huge news. I'm trying to get on top of it, so make sure that you guys stay for the whole video because as your guys are watching this, we might already have news as to what's going on. But there are rumors that the Patriots have the framework for a deal with the San Francisco 49ers for star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. I'm going to get into what I think that deal will be, what we know, what's been reported, and then, of course, my thoughts on the whole situation. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Are you tired of trying to find the best deals on tickets to your favorite events, concert, and games? Then SeatGeek is the answer. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. You can find the best deals thanks to their app and website showing you what prices are good and bad. And now you can use code PATRIOTSDRIVE for $20 off your purchase. So go ahead and get those tickets you've been eyeing because you don't want to miss out. All right, so jumping right in, guys. First off, this is a 26-year-old wide receiver we're talking about. That was a second-team All-Pro last year, 1,342 yards on 75 receptions, 7 touchdowns. He's been a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. He's led the San Francisco 49ers, who have had George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel on their roster for the last couple of years. He's led the team in all the receiving categories. He's top 2 in the NFL in receiving yards per reception. He has really good stats in man. He was ranked 7th in yards per reception against man coverage. He's an elite route runner. And this is a guy that, in my opinion, at 26 years old, first off, I'm going to talk about what I think it would take to get him. This is a guy that's not going to be cheap. But this is a guy that you go out and you make a move for while you have Drake May on a rookie contract for 5 years. And that's what a lot of people do. The Dolphins did it with Tua. The Eagles did it with Jalen Hurts. It's been done with Josh Allen for Stephon Diggs. It's been done for a lot of these young quarterbacks, and they seem to have success doing it. So you talk about you have $50+ million in cap space. There's no way in God's green earth that you can spend that much in one offseason. Now, obviously you can. The Patriots have done it before, but in my opinion, you can't spend it in any better way than going out and giving a 26-year-old wide receiver in Brandon Aiyuk, who in my opinion is just getting better. Like I said, he's an elite route runner. He does all these things right. He's good after the catch. He would immediately step into this Patriots wide receiver room, which is, may I say, looking significantly better with Demario Douglas, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk. It's looking significantly better. And he would immediately be a #1 wide receiver and take some of the pressure off of those young guys from immediately having to be #1 wide receivers. Now, like I said, it's going to take a lot. So the reports are saying, first off, let's talk about this. This comes from NBC Sports San Francisco, right? So this is Matt Miyako. Sorry if I said his name wrong. He's saying that the 49ers have negotiated the framework of trades that would send wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk to either the Cleveland Browns or the New England Patriots. It's up to Aiyuk to decide if he will accept the contract terms. So we know that Brandon Aiyuk had 4 teams that he was given permission to seek a trade with and an extension. The Steelers, the Patriots, the Browns, and the Commanders. The Steelers dropped out because of the price, and so did the Commanders. They removed themselves. There has been consistent activity with the Patriots and the Browns. Now, both of the Patriots and the Browns are going to have to be sending picks and a player back. The Browns would most likely be sending back Amari Cooper, and the Patriots will most likely be sending back Kendrick Bourne. Now, obviously with picks. So what I believe the Patriots package would be, I don't believe they threw their 2025 first round on the pick on the table. If they included a first round pick, I think it would be a 2026 first round pick. They know that their 2025 first round pick is probably a little too valuable. So a 2026 first round pick and Kendrick Bourne. What I really believe it is because the Patriots and the Niners were supposedly going to agree on the 34th pick in the 2024 NFL draft before Brandon Aiyuk had previously said he was not going to sign with the Patriots. So I think it's going to be a second Kendrick Bourne. And honestly, this might sound crazy, but if the Matt Judon situation is not going to get resolved, I would throw Matthew Judon in. I would put him in there to get over the hump. Now, that sounds like a lot, but Kendrick Bourne is just getting older. Not saying he's a bad receiver, but he's not Brandon Aiyuk. He's getting older. He's going to be on PUP for the first 6 to 8 weeks. Matthew Judon has been hurt the last couple times in the back half of the seasons for the last couple years, and he's going to be up on his contract. So there's no better way of capitalizing on that pick. You can take a guy like Brandon Aiyuk, you can develop, he's going to be your number one receiver. So now all of a sudden you're developing Javon Baker, Demario Douglas, and Jalen Polk. You have Brandon Aiyuk. You don't need to worry about drafting a wide receiver. Now you probably focus on offensive line or edge rusher in the first round of the draft next year, because that will probably be your two biggest needs if you address this trade. But you got to sell him on the Drake May vision. We know Brandon Aiyuk has said, hey, I'm not leaving San Francisco to win. Like, if he wanted to win a Super Bowl, he would have stayed with the team that's gotten to 2 in the last couple of years. He said it's all about the money, and the Patriots have the most money to do that. So when you look at what I think the contract would have to be, there was rumors during the draft or after the draft that the Patriots were willing to give him upwards of $28 million. Now, if you look at some of those guys, if he were to get paid exactly $28 million, he would be tied for the 6th highest paid receiver. Devontae Adams makes $28 million. Jalen Waddle makes 28 and a half. Tyreek Hill makes 30. Same with Amon-Ra St. Brown. AJ Brown makes 32 million. Justin Jefferson makes 35 million a year. So I think that it would be a 4-year contract, around $75 million in guaranteed money, and probably around the $29 to $30 million range. Now, if the Patriots did offer $28 million to Brandon Aiyuk earlier in the offseason when the NFL drafted and he wasn't interested, they might have to bump it up a little. You might have to pay for that. But like I said, this is a 26-year-old receiver that you're taking a chance on for your young quarterback, for Drake May. You're selling Aiyuk on this vision. Say, hey, yeah, it's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett for the first 6, 8, 10 weeks. But you're coming here to play with Drake May and to do what Stephon Diggs did for Josh Allen, to do what A.J. Brown did for Jalen Hurts, to do what Tyreek Hill did for Tua Tagovailoa, to make them into star quarterbacks and to be a star receiver yourself. And then, of course, he gets the bag with his money. Now, I don't know where he's leaning. Obviously, we're not in his head, but it's came down to 2 teams, Cleveland or New England. And I think that the Patriots can offer a little bit more of an enticing packages with picks, because they're probably not going to be as good as the Browns are this year. Now, they might favor Amari Cooper over Kendrick Bourne. I would probably say they would. But it's still, if they want to go for the future, they might want picks. They might want to take those picks. They want Ricky Pearsall to play. He was their first-round draft pick this year. So it'll be really interesting to see, 1, what the Patriots offer. 2, what's the talking points between Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, and Brandon Aiyuk and his agent, because that sounds like that's what's holding up the deal the most. It's not that the Patriots aren't offering enough or that the 49ers don't want to trade him. It's that the Patriots have to get confirmation that Brandon Aiyuk will sign his extension with the Patriots when they trade for him, because there's no need to trade for him if he's not going to sign an extension and he's going to walk in a year. So you got to figure that out. And that's what kind of the holdup is right now. We'll see, hopefully in the next coming days, it could be the next coming hours, we might wake up to news about this, that Brandon Aiyuk has been traded because he's agreed. But obviously we know that he wanted to go to the Commanders. They're not offering anything. They're off the table. He wanted to go to the Steelers too. Not there. The Browns are kind of out of left field, especially because they traded for Jerry Jeudy this offseason. I know it was such a low compensation they offered for him, a couple late day 3 picks. But it's been the Patriots, the most consistent team on Brandon Aiyuk. And like I said, if 49ers fans don't think that a second-round pick and Kendrick Bourne is enough for Brandon Aiyuk, I would be willing to throw in Matt Judon. And it's not because I don't like Matt Judon, but it's because I really think it's to the point where they're not going to get an extension done with him. He's also 31 years old, so even if you do a 2-year contract with him, he's playing into his mid-30s, and he's already been injury-prone. So why not go take a chance on a young 26-year-old wide receiver who's been all-pro back-to-back years, 1,000-yard receiver back-to-back years, and say, hey, this is the guy we're going to pair with our young quarterback. And this is a guy who in 4 years, right, Drake, the real problem with the Patriots cap space-wise, I know it's hard to pay a receiver that much money, but the Patriots don't have to worry about paying their quarterback for 5 years. If Drake May pans out, if he becomes the Justin Herbert, the Josh Allen type guys like we're hearing, Heck, if Joe Milton pans out, which I'm telling you, I'm positive it's going to be Drake May. I mean, he's been standing out in camp. Yes, he's had his rough days, but if you don't have to pay Drake May for 5 years and you can get Brandon Aiyuk for 4 years from 26 to 30 years old, it is going to be a huge deal and a huge time for his development. Now, the other part of this is some people might ask, well, hey, Jace, if they do trade for Brandon Aiyuk, does Drake May start week 1? I do not believe so. I don't believe that this speeds up Drake May at all, but this is going to help him for when he comes in. Josh Allen dealt with the same thing, right? Didn't really start most. Now, I know that Stephon Diggs wasn't on the Bills roster the first year that Josh Allen was, but still, I don't think it speeds up Drake May's process. Like, I think the Patriots are still going to be very, very patient with him. Brandon Aiyuk will play through this year, and then his contract will kick in the following year, so you will still get 4 years of him. And then as contract expires, once you find out if you're going to re-sign Drake May to the big contract that you are, quarterbacks are going for 45, 50 plus million. And, in 5 years, they might be going for 60. So that's when the real problem kicks in. And that's why I've been so adamant. Me and Cole have talked about it before. You got to make a move like this when you're on a rookie contract. You got to give your young rookie quarterback a star wide receiver on the outside. I think that having a guy like Brandon Aiyuk will be huge for Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, Demario Douglas also. They'll be able to learn from him. It will take a little bit of pressure off of them. I really could see Brandon Aiyuk and Jalen Polk being like a top 2 or like a top 5 tandem in the league in 3 years, right? Let Jalen Polk develop a little more. We already know you're getting a true wide receiver 1 out of Brandon Aiyuk. And maybe it's Javon Baker too. Maybe Javon Baker, after how good he's been doing in camp, is a guy that develops into, hey, this is a great number 2 wide receiver. But it's what I've said. As much as I've loved what I've seen from Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, I really don't know if they're ready to be wide receiver 1s this year. They might be in a year or in 2 or 3. But man, if you had Brandon Aiyuk right now, it's going to be freaking exciting. So like I said, I've reported on this before. We've said things. We know Elliott Wolf was willing to give up a ton of money for Calvin Ridley this offseason. He already had an offer out for Brandon Aiyuk, and he was willing to give him $28 million plus. Now it seems like it's picking up a little bit more. So we'll see what's happening in the next coming days. Hopefully we get a little bit more. Hopefully we're live we for sure will be live for probably Saturday or Sunday after preseason game 1 to talk about all that. Might have more news there, some more rumors, whatever. So we'll for sure talk about that. So if you guys haven't, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Comment down below your thoughts on the Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors, what you think the Patriots should give up, what you would be willing to give up, and if you think it's a great idea for the Patriots to trade for him. So really appreciate all the support. Hopefully that there's some more news coming up here soon. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.